Welcome to the Obesity Matters Wellness Workshop, where we embark on an incredible journey towards better health and wellness together. Whether this is your first time or you have been with us since we started, we are so grateful you are here. My name is Rachel. I'm the Vice Chair of Obesity Matters, and I am your host for this session. And today's topic, the era of obesity medications, what you need to know. With that, I would like to welcome our guest today leading this conversation, the amazing Dr. Sandy Van. We're so glad that you're here. Many people living with obesity, we blame ourselves when treatments fail or when we regain the weight. What do you want them to understand about the biology of obesity?
The biology of obesity is so fascinating because it's no one size fits all. We do know that obesity is a condition, or people gain weight by their calorie intake exceeding what their body's able to expend, right? And that looks different for everybody as well. But it's not as easy as just saying, well, just eat less and move more then, because the eat less part is actually really, really complicated. That the things that actually govern how we eat and how we experience food and how much we feel like we need to eat are largely driven by genetics. There's up to 1,000 genes that have been indicated to regulate our body shape or determine our body shape by affecting appetite signaling. We know that there are certain things that control the biology of somebody's weight status that have nothing to do with their personal choices. Like, I've never met anybody in my practice, I chose this for myself. Like, nobody has ever said that. And it doesn't even have to do with the person's intelligence or their professional background. I've met people from all sorts of backgrounds who struggle with obesity. What I want people to also know is that not everybody responds to the intervention the same way. Whether it's a medication or keto may not be the thing that works for the person who's sitting in front of me. So everybody's very different in the way they develop their obesity, but they're also different in the way they respond to the interventions.
What do most of us need to understand about these medications and how they actually work?
Well, yeah, the medications are effective because they actually address the underlying causes of obesity. People with obesity are taking these medications. They are suddenly getting an appetite system that's working more to their advantage when it comes to weight loss. So it's not chronically suppressing. The beginning of the treatment maybe feels like, oh, whoa, that appetite suppression is really strong, but it's not like that the entire time, because eventually your brain starts to adapt and it starts to see, oh, okay, well, Sandy's seeing some weight loss. Okay, let's pull this back a bit. Like, let's increase her hunger hormone a little bit. Let's decrease her fullness hormones, because your brain at some point wants your weight to stabilize. Like, if it was chronically just, helping you lose weight, then that would be a problem. That's the way the medication works. And it is meant to be a long-term use medication. I usually say I'll support whatever you want to do, but at the same time, we have clinical research that shows that when you withdraw the treatment or discontinue it, that your risk of regain is very high. And that has nothing to do with your ability to engage in lifestyle interventions to try to keep it off. It's just that your appetite just goes back to what it was doing before.
Are there other side effects that one can experience? And is there a way to manage some of the typical things that happen?
Medications have a lot of benefits, but remember, they should only be used in people who are actually eligible for treatment. And eligibility is if they meet the BMI cutoff and they also have plus or minus medical related conditions. I don't want to just blanket statement and make you think I think everybody should be on it. That's definitely not the case. It's based on eligibility. And the risks associated with medication, I'll speak about the injectables because those are the most common right now, like the GLP-1s and GIP, so semaglutide and tirzepatide. Those are medications that have demonstrated a good safety profile. There's cardiovascular safety data on semaglutide, for instance. We know that there's the risk of the most common side effects. GLP-1s are nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, constipation, heartburn. I always say they're usually mild to moderate. They usually go away. They're usually temporary. You just wouldn't go up on the dose if you had it, so that it's because it might get exacerbated. When it comes to adverse effects, you don't want to use it if you have a personal or family history of medullary thyroid cancer or multiple endocrine neoplasia, a personal history of pancreatitis that hasn't been addressed. And that's not a comprehensive list, but I'm just listing the ones that a lot of people read about or write about. So yes, there are adverse effects associated with the class of treatment. the risk is relatively low, but you always have to discuss it with a licensed healthcare provider to see if it's appropriate for you, because it's not risk-free. So you are not alone in this. And I also like to bring up the fact that it should not be seen as a personal shortcoming. It really is this thing that happens to you. It's not something that you made problem for yourself.
A huge shout out to you, Sandy. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for joining us today. Remember that our journey towards better health and wellness is not a solitary one. We are here to support and uplift one another. See you next time.